Welcome back to the Driftless Homestead. Terry P here. Hey, today we're going out and we're going to be showing some people the Easton made 1222 and all of its capabilities as far as how much wood it can make, how nice a wood it can make, and I think that you'll see how shocked they are because this is really an incredible machine with how much firewood it can make and how fast it can make it. Um, I noticed right away that when I started using it, that I got bottlenecked by taking the wood away from the machine, so I had to go out and get a conveyor. So now I'm at peak performance with it. There's a couple of things I need to do with it yet, but we are set to make a lot of firewood and get this business rolling. So stay tuned. We got a nice show for you to watch as far as running the Easton through its paces with some people who've never seen it before. That's it. What do you guys think of the... God, it was cold. Tell me what you guys think of the Easton 1222.
Ryan, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's quite an incredible machine. If I were to pick a favorite thing about it, it's just this arm over there, that you can just keep it loaded, and it just makes the work that much easier. You're not sitting there holding logs. You're keeping the guy busy that's operating the machine. I mean, there was a time where I was able to load that up and fill up a trailer load at the same time, and it wasn't faltering any production there.
What should be the log lift? Is what the... That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's one thing, Harold. You watch your videos on there and you go, wow, that's something else. But when you see this thing in action live, you're like, yeah, that's an incredible piece of equipment. It makes the job so much easier.
Yeah, and another thing that you can't see on the videos, but you do in person, is just how large and formidable the piece of machinery is. You know, like how thick the steel is, you know. And this is just a 6-way wedge. Hopefully I can get you guys down to my place and show you how the box wedge works. To me, that's the most impressive thing, you know, because it makes perfect wood, you know.
Yeah, this is one heavy piece of equipment, you know. I pulled it over here for you and up on top of this ridge top, and just going down the road, you can tell you've got some weight behind you.
Yeah, it's about 2,300 pounds.
Yeah, it is a high quality machine.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. I would say that this definitely has cut the workload probably in half, if not more. You know, we were able to get damn near a fire load, or a year's worth of fire load for the neighbor done in less than 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of fun doing all the planning and kind of coordinating this out and getting a group of guys together, and it seemed to work out really good. But this machine is the reason why it worked out so good.
Right. If we had a single wedge splitter, this would be a couple weekends, you know, getting this much wood done. How much wood do you think we did?
Oh man, it's got to be close to 2 full cords, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, in 3 hours, which I am looking for the machine to turn out at least a cord an hour. Jeff and I later will do this summer, we'll do some time tests. We'll set up on each side, and we'll get the ash rounds that are 16 inches, and we'll just keep throwing it in from each side. And when the conveyor belt takes it away, you know, and that's another thing that takes time is getting the wood away from the machine. And that's where I realized that there was a bottleneck, and I went out and got the conveyor so that it can keep the machine clear. You can keep going. Now I need a bigger trailer or a dump truck or something, you know. Yeah.
Well, they sell them every day, Harold.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, you know, you think about, you know, this is more of an investment than a box store splitter, but you think about how much wood you can make and the natural progression of people who burn wood. You know, they start with an axe, they do some wood for their house, they get behind, they buy a box store splitter, and then they're able to split for themselves, maybe a little extra, and then they think, well, why don't I sell a little bit of this, you know, and then they start selling wood, and then it's like, well, the same amount of time I invest in, I could start a firewood business and start making money, you know, selling a lot more firewood, and easier, because the log lift, as far as I'm concerned, the bigger the log, the better, because you can roll the log up, never have to pick it up. Roll the log up to the log lift, have the log lift drop in the gullet there, and you know, with the box wedge, it just moves it back and forth and shaves 6 pieces off each time. But you know, if a guy or a group of guys got together and bought a machine like this, you could, in a couple of weekends, you could make enough firewood to heat, you know, 4 or 5 houses, you know, and it's just working together. You know, we need people moving the trailers out, stacking the wood, people bringing the wood to the machine, you know, and a couple guys operating the machine. This thing could easily support several households, and then you divide this by 5, the price of it by 5. Now you're back down into the price of a box store splitter.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think one of the reasons why we have 5 guys working at this today, and it makes a big difference.
It does.
But every time we came back after unloading the wood, there was another 2 piles that were ready for us to pick up.
Yeah.
This thing can go as fast as you want to. The only
Yeah.
bottleneck is if you guys need to take a break, but this thing will keep going and going and going and going.
That's right.
And you
That's
can't
right.
seem to find a log that that the machine can't go through. There's other times where you'll have to set logs to the side
Yep.
because you just can't go through them.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, we had some nasty stuff sitting up here.
Stringy
just
elm.
stringy, knotted up, and it just blows right through
Yeah.
it. It doesn't bog the machine down.
I did buy a special 4-way wedge just for doing crotches and stringy wood. We didn't bring it with us today, but yeah, you know, you can make it even easier and faster by putting the right wedge in there, you know, having the right tool for the job.
Yeah, that's one thing. The biggest thing is that it doesn't matter what size wood it is. It could be 3 inches or it could be 20 inches.
Just
It's,
pounds
right
through it.
Yeah. And like I said, the bigger the better, because then you don't have to pick the wood up. You know, where you get these 16-inch pieces of wood, you know, unless you're using a pickaroon, you're bending over and picking the wood up, where the big wood, you just roll it in.
And it really stresses the importance, like if you have a good plan, you know, like
Yep.
if you guys have the rounds where your machine is and it's on the right side of the ramp,
Yeah.
and you set it up correctly and you have a good plan, you can just even do it quicker and quicker and quicker.
Yeah. So right now over at our place, you know, we got a big pile of rounds we need to get through and stack, and then we're gonna lay the yard out a little bit different so that when I bring the I always buck up out in the woods, you know, so the mess is out there, and then I bring the rounds down, and I'll bring big rounds on one side and smaller rounds on the other side. So when I'm using the box wedge, I'm splitting the big rounds on the log lift side, and then the smaller rounds will be on this open side, and I'll just throw them in each time, you know, and knock it through. And then we don't have a lot of crotchwood with trees that grow in the woods, you know, because that tree will go 50 feet before it even branches out for the first time because it struggled to get light in its life. So but the crotchwood I'm going to set aside, and I'm just going to have a pile of crotchwood, and then one day when I'm there, I'm just going to bust out that tall 4-way wedge and knock those out. And you know, it's great heat because of the way the grain is twisted and tight together. It produces more BTUs, you know, so it's just hard to process, you know, when you're trying to do a bulk amount of wood.
Yeah, you don't want to change out that head for one crotch wood and
Right.
then do it again and get it all stacked up, and then you got a bunch of all-nighters
Yep.
you just shove in there and it takes forever.
And the same thing with the box wedge. You know, when you see that, today we were using the 6-way wedge. The box wedge is a 7-way box wedge is what they call it, but it makes 6 pieces of wood at a time. When you guys see that work, you're going to be like, and how pretty the wood is coming out the other side, you're going to be like, holy smokes. That's
Production.
something. Yep. All right, what do you say what time is it? Is it lunchtime?
Oh, I think it's well past. I think we got a bunch of sandwich meat in the back there. Whip up a sandwich if you guys want to. Or whatever.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
All
Make
right.
a sandwich.
Thanks for showing up today. We appreciate it, and have a great day.